it's not until like 30 seconds later that it's actually working. It actually starts working. Why am I looking so foggy? Oh, great. Is that seriously? Oh, whatever. It should unfog in a minute. I guess I haven't used this in too long again. It starts fogging up inside, but it'll heat up in a second. So I'm just going to wait a second in case anyone wants to show up. Hello, person. Who are you? I'm super late today, and I'll explain why in a minute. Hey, D Gark. Hey, Jaimie, how you doing? Yeah, how are you doing? Hey, what's going on? So you guys probably noticed that I'm like super late today, obviously. Um, oh, let me just wait a minute. I usually blow off the first minute or two on this just to let people catch up. Loving your swing blade sawmill build. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I haven't. Oh, Tomatoes made it. Yeah, you're so late. Oh, you little bugger, you're so late. How many hours am I late? Am I like 3 hours late? 3.5 hours late? Ah, it starts when it starts. That's right, Jeff. It starts when it starts. That's true. Maybe I shouldn't worry about the schedule so much when doing these. Although I try to do these in a consistent way so that if someone wants to be here for it live, they know when it's going to be. But yeah, life happens sometimes, and there you go. Convenient for me. I was busy earlier. Ah, excellent, D Gark. I love your name, D Gark. All right, so I guess I should explain why I'm so late. Oh, I've almost gotten up to 2 minutes here, and then I will have exhausted 2 minutes, giving people enough time to get here. Okay, so I'm super late today because Deshana and I got in a huge fight today. And you know what? I'm not going to get into the details. There were some not pleasant things said, and I'm not even going to go into the details of what the problem was and what the blah 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 blah, because it's just exhausting, stupid stuff that's been going on forever. Bottom line, oh yeah, I'm not wearing a shirt today because I just don't care. I was just outside in the heat and I'm just hot right now, and I'm just nipples out, man, nipples out. Men freed the nipples quite a while ago. We're allowed to have our nipples out. I feel a little bit bad for the ladies, although in a lot of places, ladies can have their nipples out too. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. So the bottom line is, after Deshana and I concluded our let's say, energetic discussion, her island and her boat and her house are hers, and she is responsible for them. And that's what it all ended up. There was a lot of other stuff that we were going on about, back and forth, but it all ended up coming down to Deshana's property is hers, and it's her responsibility. And I guess last week I was building her a deck, like a balcony, and before that I was working on a roof, and I was doing a bunch of stuff for her because we made another contract not too long ago that basically said, I mean, in a nutshell, it said, I will do things for her, but she has to do things for me. So like if I work 12 hours lifting heavy stuff, moving stuff, and building stuff for her, if I ask her to like rub my back for 20 minutes, she cannot say no. Because typically she would be like, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. So that we made a contract. Basically, no, you have to take care of me. I will do stuff for you, but you have to take care of me. Only problem is, it's always convenient for me to do things for her, never convenient for her to do things for me. So yeah, I started getting frustrated real fast. And then, whenever the kids are at my house, she goes to party in like, the most expensive town in Panama, by the way. But anyway, she's just like going off to party, and I'm like, well, I'm doing everything, and I'm paying for everything, and I'm doing everything, and you're just like partying. And when the kids are at her house, I'm working hard the whole time. So I was getting pretty angry and frustrated about this. But I think we have it worked out where her stuff is her responsibility. She has to take care of it. So if anyone's wondering why I'm not helping her, that's why. And her party trips, any of that, she pays for with whatever money she gets from wherever. So yeah, I think things have been straightened out pretty much. Although, I mean, after we had like several hours of first a huge argument and then negotiations and stuff, oh, it is damn frustrating. Yes, D Gark, it is unbelievably frustrating. But anyway, you know, we got to the point where we finally nailed down what the problem was, and like basically, like I will take care of my house and my property, and I will take care of the kids, and I will pay for all the stuff for the kids, and she has to take care of her own stuff that's for herself. You know, once we got that all worked out, then it was like, okay. And then she immediately asked me, okay, but can you fix my boat? And then can you fix my water collector? And can you connect my solar panels? And she starts asking me all this stuff. And I'm just like, were you here for the last 5 hours? So I'm like, okay, look, I'm going to come fix your water collection and I'm going to fix your boat. And then we're done. I don't know if she's using drugs, but she is. Anyway, so I went over to her house and I fixed her water collector, did a bunch of stuff, fixed her boat. That's all working smoothly now. And then, like, she kept asking me to do more things, and I'm just like, no. You tell me to go away. You tell me F off, F off, F off, go away. I don't need you. I'm a strong, independent woman. You need to go away, F off, F off. I mean, she's been saying that to me for years. And eventually it's just like, okay, fine. I'm staying out of your business. And I don't say any of this to try to like villainize her or anything. It's just she wants to feel like she has control over her own life, and she doesn't want me being in control of things. But that also means she doesn't want me. I mean, that basically means I'm not doing all the stuff. You know, you can't have it both ways. You can't have someone doing stuff for you all the time and then have control over everything as if they're just your slave. And that's what I was feeling like. She's just treating me like this slave who has to do all this stuff. And this is a pretty typical problem in the world today. And I gotta say, she and I managed to work it out a lot better than I've seen a lot of people do that exact situation. Because this morning when we were having the fight, I was just like, oh crap, this is turning into the divorce, you know, where basically, regardless of how much effort I've put into holding our family together and like trying to work around her emotions or whatnot, regardless of whatever I've done for years, all she has to do is say, I'm the woman, I'm the victim, he's the big scary man. And then suddenly, you know, I go to jail, or I just get all my, or I get all my stuff taken away, I lose my kids, lose my money. And she knows that if that happens, I'm killing myself. Because that's all, like, my only reason to live is for my kids. And I think once she realized, I got that look on my face where it was like, that's it. I'm done. I don't have anything else to live for now. And she saw that look on my face. That's when she started being like, okay, I can stop screaming at you. I can maybe negotiate. But anyway, I know a lot of other people who've had that exact same situation that I had this morning, never got it worked out as well as we did. I mean, I can't say it's great because she's going to keep asking me to do stuff, and I'm going to have to keep saying no until it gets to the point where she's, I don't know, maybe she'll figure it out. I mean, her answer to everything is always, well, I'll just hire someone. And yeah, anyway, maybe she'll figure it out, but it's probably going to, I don't know. Anyway, I don't have to worry about it. So now things are, anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, I know a lot of other people who've had that circumstance start and never gotten to any resolution. And, you know, this is all these guys in our world today who've lost their kids and have to pay all this, alimony and child support to a woman who's stolen the children and ruined the family, and just like, oh, it's insane. I know so many guys who've had that situation and are in that situation right now. Get the back rub before you do stuff for her. Easy, right? Yeah, I don't need it before I do this stuff. I like if I'm getting ready to like spend 12 hours carrying around wood and concrete and doing all this stuff, I don't need anything before that. It's not till I'm done all the stuff and my muscles are sore and I'm like, oh, if I just leave this tomorrow, I'm gonna wake up and be like, headache. And yeah, last week I had a headache most of the week, which is probably part of the reason we ended up getting to a point of a fight, because I just had a headache from all the tension in my back. And I'm just like, you could fix this. You could fix this in 20 minutes. And you won't give me 20 minutes when I've given you 12 hours. Anyway, whatever. We got it worked out. So I think it's fine. But yeah, so many guys I know, they end up in this situation where they lose their kids and lose everything, and that's it. So, I mean, on one hand, I'm like so frustrated and irritated that I'm with this woman who's just a product of our feminist culture where, men are evil, women can do no wrong, and the woman is always the victim no matter what's going on, and they'll just dig into that and just act like the victim like crazy. So I'm frustrated about that, but then on the other hand, I feel fortunate that we could eventually get to a point where we could communicate and negotiate and get some kind of reasonable resolution. And I think this is a fine, reasonable resolution. That basically part of the problem is if I'm always doing stuff for her and she's never helping, like she's not taking care of me at all, how I need to be taken care of, then I'm losing the ability to do the things I need to do to make life what I'm trying to make it here. I'm trying to make this self-sufficient place so that my kids have some future. And that's all I really care about in this whole situation. Like everything I do, it's for my kids, it's for their future, Life, it's tough out there, yeah. Yeah, sunshine and smiles. Your children were held hostage for money. Yeah. I mean, I came from divorced parents. And it was just unbelievably horrible. It was just like I didn't have parents growing up because they were divorced. And in the way it works today is, well, I don't even explain it. People know what this is like, And when we're having that fight this morning, I was just like, oh crap. I mean, if we can't work this out, our kids are screwed, man. But yeah, I mean, we worked it out. She's just going to be responsible for her stuff and take care of her stuff, and I'm going to be responsible for my stuff, and I'll take care of my stuff, and I'll take care of the kids' stuff and everything. But she has to pay for her own fix-ups and whatever, and partying and any of that stuff she wants to do. She has to take care of that. And I can totally live with that, and I can be friends with her under those circumstances. I just can't be friends with her under the circumstance of me constantly doing things for her, because that's just the guy I am. Like, if someone needs help, someone needs something fixed, I'm just like, I'll fix it. Whatever the question is, yes. The answer is yes. That's who I am, and that's who I like to be. But yeah, I guess just with her, I just have to be like, no. My parents divorced when I was 7. My mom moved to a house across the street and 3 houses down. I feel very fortunate for that proximity. Yeah, that doesn't usually happen. That's great if your parents could still live close enough that you can just go back and forth easily. And yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what Deshana and I are trying to do. We live close to each other. We can. I've always said, we have to make sure that our kids have access to both of us. And, like, I don't know. Anyway, but I think we got it worked out, and it's fine. And I also think she's ridiculous and doesn't make any sense to me. But, you have to work with what you got. So anyway, Jaimie, you have been, this is a positive message. This is great. You have been a constant inspiration for me and others. You better quit that self-destruction talk. It goes against ABC guidelines. Well, not entirely, actually. So I've been actually kind of down since a few days ago. I don't know, a few days ago, I got to the point where, I've been just holding everything together for so long, and kind of keeping everything going and making all this progress and all this stuff. And every time, I mean, honestly, it's almost always Deshana, but it's not always Deshana. Sometimes it's other people. People will dump stuff on me, and I'll be like, I'll just carry it, and I'll just keep going. I'll just keep going. Well, a few days ago, I got to the point where I was like, I can't hold all this up. And I was just like, forget it. And I just let it all go. And I'd been riding this wave for a while, trying to stay at the top. And then I was just like, let's just hit the bottom. Because I think, well, I mean, that day I was thinking about it, like how this works and how this can work in my favor. So, and this is how an adventure builder deals with this kind of stuff. And I've talked about depression before. But when you're in a positive situation or a negative situation, an adventure builder figures out how to make it work. So the other day I was thinking about how life has ups and downs. It goes up and down. And what you want to do in life is it's sort of like there's these waves of up and down. You want to get up on one of these waves, just like you're surfing, and get up on one of these waves and stay in the positive zone. You might call it like in the zone, like if you're doing sports and you're just kicking butt, you're like in the zone, right? So you want to do that with life. Just get up on one of those peaks and try to stay there as much as you can. But if you kind of stay still and you don't do things, then life just kind of pushes you. You end up going ups and downs, and then you get your bipolar kind of situation where 1 minute things are great, the next minute things are crap, and it's just going up and down and up and down. And I was thinking about that. I've been on like riding a pretty good wave for a while and just trying to stay on top of it. And just things, mostly people, and mostly Deshana, just piling more stuff on me, and it's harder to stay up on this wave, and I keep getting knocked down and scrambling back up. But eventually I was like, okay, I'm just wearing myself out, putting all my energy into just barely trying to stay with this wave. Maybe I just need to let that one go, hit the bottom, and when the next one starts bringing me back up, don't bring any of that garbage with me, and then try to get back up on this next wave and start going and get into a good groove again with renewed resistance to, I'm just going to say a swear word here, so you have to excuse me, with renewed resistance to bullshit. So a few days ago, I just said, it. Well, I just said bullshit. Now maybe I can say can we just make this a swearing one this week? So I just said, fuck it. It just, fell off the wave and just let everything go, dropped everything, stopped working on anything. Before that, it was like, I was just constantly trying to make progress on things, on all kinds of things. I was just like, fuck it. And just let it all go and hit bottom. And I just sat down on the floor and was just like, okay, let me just sit here and experience the bottom of the wave. And it felt terrible. But I was conscious enough that I could just like observe it and be like, this sucks. The bottom of the wave is crap. And I'm like, okay, I just got to remember that. Now that I'm experienced this bottom of the wave, how bad things can get. Like just like I feel like killing myself, and it just doesn't, like nothing matters, and like I just don't care about anything. Ugh. It just is terrible. And I'm like, okay, I got to remember that's what the bottom of the wave is like. So when I get back up on the next wave, and I'm already starting to feel it, like I'm not putting any effort into, kind of like trying to get going again. For the last few days, I've just been like, let's zero out my energy level. I'm just like, I haven't been eating much or doing much. I'm just like, let me just blah. But like yesterday a little bit, and even today, did I just get frozen? I'm starting to feel a little bit like I'm like without any effort of my own, I'm kind of starting to get pushed back up, right? So pretty soon, I'm starting to get pushed back up on this wave. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have to start going to get up my momentum. Just like surfing, you get up on a wave, you got to get going so you can get up on the wave. I'm gonna have to start figuratively running, like getting up to speed, so that when when I get to the top of the wave, I can be there going the same speed as it, and then I can start riding that wave again, and then I can be back in a super productive, super happy kind of situation. And when I say happy, I've heard a lot of stuff about people talking about how happiness isn't the goal. And then they'll almost always talk about how you'll actually be happier if you're not trying to just search for short-term happiness. So this is the long-term happiness that I'm talking about. So yeah, I gotta get back up on this wave, and I feel one starting to lift me up already. And like over this next week, I'm basically making it the goal to get back up on this thing. And I'm gonna do all my morning exercises, and which I typically have done. Although last week I skipped the last one. I skipped Friday's morning exercise, which I haven't done in a long time. But yeah, so this week I'm just going to try to get up to speed and get up on this next wave and get in the groove and get my stuff going, And I've just been thinking about how awesome it's going to be when I get this lumber mill made and get my bigger cargo boat like renovated how I want and get it going again, and just a lot of things that like I have really cool stuff going on, like so much cool potential, like things that are already started, I just gotta get back up on that positive wave and put up full shields, full bullshit protection. And it's funny, the last few days, I've stopped trying to sugarcoat things, because I'm always trying to be polite. And I know that I often come across as not very polite because, I tell the truth. So just the last few days, I'm not even trying to like tell the truth pleasantly. I'm just like, well, here's the truth. That's it. So I think I might just have to stick with that and just not worry about what anyone else thinks, and not worry so much about other people's feelings. And that's part of the thing. Deshane has been able to get away with a lot with me because I care so much. So she says, oh, could you help me with this? And I'm like, I got a lot to do. Oh, but I really need it. Okay, what is it? I'll help you. Yeah, but now it's like, it's very clear that I'm not supposed to do that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm still in a bit of a gully, but I'm starting to come back up. And by the end of this week, probably by before next Sunday, I should be back to like 104,000%. I should be kind of the point of being on one of these waves, being in the up zone, is that you can be more than you normally are. You can be like 120% of what you can normally be, what you could really sustain normally. But then you get into the groove and you can be in a really good spot. And if you ever find those people in your life who can help you stay up on one of those waves, like up in the groove, like up in the zone, those are the best people in the world. And I've been trying harder to find people that I could have in my life. I mean, specifically one person, like a girlfriend that I could have in my life who could help like encourage that sort of like high. But just in other than that, just in general, like friends who are good at, like the positive direction. I wouldn't even say the positive thinking, because like a lot of people will have the I'm happy all the time no matter what, meanwhile they're doing stupid things that are screwing up their future. But like sometimes you meet those friends who are like, I'm not excited and happy right now because there's some short-term thing. No, I'm excited and happy about the future and the direction we're going. Having those people around, that's just amazing. So I have been working on that more. And I do have one friend who's like that, which is pretty awesome. He actually came by 2 days ago, I think, when I was like right at the gully of my down, right in the bottom of the wave. And he came over. He was like, how's it going, man? I heard, because he watches my online stuff still, even though he lives like right there. He's like, yeah, I heard you were he's watching this too, probably right now. How's it going, man? But he came over and he, talked a little, and I talked to him about it. And yeah, it's just, he made me kind of feel better about the progress and the direction and the future. Like that's a really good friend to have. I got to get more of those people in my life. It'd be nice to build a bigger community of those kind of people, which is what I've been trying to do for years. And maybe with my bullshit reflectors on at full power, maybe I can make that happen more. Anyway, so what's going on with you guys? Now I've missed a whole bunch of stuff. Do I go back to the beginning of comments and start reading there, or should I start later? I would love to see some more 10 videos a day, please, during the week as well. Even super short updates on your projects are very welcome. Well, I do have like 4 or 5 videos right now on my computer. Only one I'm definitely putting up. 4 of them were like kind of cultural commentary kind of things that I've been thinking about during the week. Some are like, just pointing out ridiculous, stupid things. Some are answering questions people ask. Whenever I do those kind of videos, I'm always kind of like, I don't know if I should post that, because, obviously some people are going to agree and other people are going to disagree. And considering it's me and I'm not very conformist, a lot of people are going to disagree and be all pissy about it. And sometimes I just don't want to hear it. But maybe that's part of putting my bullshit deflectors on full power. Maybe I should just upload everything I say and do that I put on a camera that I think is valuable at the time, and just barf it all out there. And people want to complain about it, fine. Yeah, maybe I can do more videos. I was thinking about doing like maybe a couple times a week, just doing a quick live, just like a quick, like this is what I'm doing right now, give a little blurb, just a couple minutes of something, and then just go back to what I'm doing, because people do ask about that sometimes. But I don't want it to turn into a thing where I'm just like flooding my channel with like millions of videos, and then people are just like, God, we don't care about all this stuff. Come on, do something worthwhile. So I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't think about it so much and just do whatever. I feel like with all the stuff you've built, she would pick up some building skills just by proxy. Well, that's part of the fight I've had with Deshaina, is that like she doesn't really want to do the stuff. And I try to teach her stuff, but she's just not interested. Like I don't know, it's like she says she's interested, but then she doesn't actually want to do it. And maybe it's just me. Although, I mean, maybe it's just the way I interact with her. Maybe, because like with most people, if I'm showing them how to do something, I can make it a very fun experience. But with Deshaina, it's like I cannot turn it into a fun experience. I can if I don't know. I don't even know if I can. I know I've tried really, really hard. Like when I was trying to teach her how to drive my boat years ago. I was like, come on, it'd be cool. You want to at least know how to drive the boat, right? Come on, we can practice. We're not near anything you can hit, trying to get her interested, and just no. Yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, I guess the point of what I just discussed with Deshaina is that I'm not going to try to get her interested in things anymore, because that's just been me banging my head against the wall. She wants to do different things. And we ended up coming up with an agreement that lets her do what she wants to do, lets me do what I want to do, without it screwing each other up. And that's not my first choice. My first choice is that we could work together and do something amazing. But second choice is, okay, fine. You do your thing, I'll do my thing, and we can maybe support each other in little ways here and there, but not be too engrossed in each other's stuff. Like basically, I don't want to come over there and fix stuff all the time and then have her just not participate or appreciate it. Yeah. Whatever, I think it's fine. Oh, a strong and interdependent woman. Yeah, I mean that's. And again, I don't want to crap on Deshaina. Like I think it's more the culture we have today, how women are being lied to about how they're. I actually made a video about feminism recently, so maybe I should just post that, because I just kind of like laid it all out, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Because like what women are being told today is that you want to be a strong, independent woman, but also you need to get all this stuff for free. And men are horrible, but whenever you want something done, you have to get one to do it, and then they're your slaves, and it's just insane. It's just, and the thing is, it's not good for men or for women. And what we're supposedly being told is that, this feminism is good for women. It's, it's saving them from all this oppression, but it's making life miserable for men and women. And I don't think this feminism was even made up by women. I'm just going to post a video about that, because it explains the whole thing I was talking about. Basically, I was explaining that I think feminism, modern feminism, was made up by players like men who want women to just be, promiscuous. I'm trying to use the polite word. They want women to be promiscuous. They want them to feel like they don't want to be in any kind of relationship. Basically, just everything set up for guys who are players, so they can go around and run their game. Like that's what feminism is. Well, you are the nilder. I think you're the builder. You have a builder's obligation to make sure things are right after the handover. No, that's not true. Once you build something and hand it over to someone else, it's up to them to take care of it. Because you can't say everything is the builder's fault. Like if you build a house for someone and they have termites show up and they don't do anything about the termites, and the termites eat the house over 4 years, you can't then say, oh, it's the builder's fault. No, you had to take care of that while it was going. This is what it's like. And this is what I felt like was going on with me and Deshaina, which is why I was getting so frustrated. Like, imagine someone goes outside, imagine a woman goes outside, cuts down a tree, and it lands on her car, crushing the car. And then she goes to her neighbor and says, hey, Jaimie, can you come fix, there's a problem over here. This tree landed on my car. Wait, what do you mean the tree landed on your car? Well, it just landed on my car. Wait, you cut it down. Well, yeah, I cut down the tree, but I didn't make it land on my car. It's like, okay, just go inside. Let me see what I can do. And then the guy spends like a day with a winch, pulling this tree off, cutting it up and getting it off the car, and then gets inside the car with a hammer, banging it back out into a drivable condition, right? Into a usable condition. And then goes to the lady and says, okay, look, that's the best I can do. For nothing, that's the best I can do. And then she'll go out and drive the car, and people will see the car and say, oh, what happened to your car? It looks terrible. And then she says, and you've probably heard this, if anyone watches Deshaina's channel, you'll hear her say things like, oh, well, it's not Jaimie's fault. He was doing his best. I don't blame him. And all this false benevolence of like I'm going to totally imply that he caused the problem, while I'm also simultaneously pretending that I'm an angel for not getting upset with him. So this is one of the things I was so angry about with Deshaina, because she keeps doing this, and I'm always the bad guy. I'm always telling her I'm sick and tired of being the bad guy. So no, the builder is not responsible after the handoff. The builder is responsible for the condition when it's handed off. Once you hand something to someone else, it doesn't matter if you built it or not. You give it to someone else, it's their responsibility after that. They're either taking care of it or not taking care of it. And this whole thing about like everything that goes wrong on Deshaina's property is my fault, that is not cool. That is just frustrating. It's unbelievably frustrating, because then she has full license, and this is one of the problems. Like, people are encouraging her with this. She has full license to say, oh, well, anything wrong here is Jaimie's fault, because he bought me the land and he built the house and he made all the stuff. He supplied me with all the stuff. And then idiots who, come in on their white horse and try to say, oh, that Jaimie, he's such a bad guy because he didn't do this for you. Even though he did all this stuff, he should have done more. Yeah, no, it's not the builder's responsibility to maintain something for all of eternity, regardless of how neglectful the person who then owns the thing is. No, once you hand over ownership, that's it. And that's basically what we did today. She has ownership of her place. It's her thing now. And hopefully that'll go great. Oh, yeah. Heard that I'll just hire somebody before. I said, okay, then off you go. Yeah, we've had that conversation several times actually. Jaimie says, I'll just hire someone. And I'm like, okay. And then 3 weeks later, Jaimie, can I just hire you? That's the latest thing. And that, can I hire you? And then, but she's not gonna pay me, and I'm not gonna ask her for this. She'll be like, here, I'll pay you this much money, and it doesn't mean anything. Because I take care of her anyway. So yeah, it's just silly. But at this point, that's what it is. She can hire someone. That's fine. She says she'll hire someone because she knows that annoys you and you offer to help instead, possibly. Well, it's not even that she knows it annoys me. She just knows, she's doing whatever she's executing her life strategies that have worked in the past. That's all she's really doing. And that's, every time one of these situations comes, it's like, we can sit here and say it's the evil men or it's the evil women, and we can have this stupid fight of genders, or we can just look at our society and say, okay, how is our society screwing this up? Because people are doing things because it's working. So she grew up she was very pretty. Deshaina is a very pretty girl. She has big blue eyes. And even now you can see when I never get to see this look in person, but I see it in her videos. She turns on her videos and she gets her big eyes and, she lights up and it's like, she's just radiating, right? I mean, that's not the person that I see in real life. The person I see in real life is this. But she can do that. She even now, she's 40, whatever years old. She's a very beautiful woman. And throughout her whole life, consistently, she just goes up to men and says, hi, blink, 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 can you do what I want? And men are just like, okay, yeah, whatever. And what am I gonna blame her for doing exactly what works amazingly well? Like what? Hey, beautiful women of the world, stop trying to manipulate men in this way that works amazingly well for you. Stop doing this thing that works spectacularly well for you. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it sucks that they do that, but it sucks that these idiot guys are just like, oh, anything you say, anything, you're so beautiful, I'll do anything you say, and all other men are horrible, and anyone, I'm never gonna say you should be loyal to anyone because I'm just gonna give you bad feedback all the time because you're beautiful and I wanna get your attention. So you can sit here and try to blame women, but men are doing it. Men are causing this. It's a two-way thing. Multiple people are all causing the same problem. So, if you're a guy and there's some beautiful woman just trying to get you to do crap, you got to remember, if I'm just giving her attention because she's beautiful, that's not going to benefit her. It's going to benefit her in the short term, and it's going to make her feel good because she's getting attention, but it will have no long-term beneficial impacts. And you can go on YouTube and see all of these older women who went through their whole youth getting all these favors and all this stuff. And then they get to the age of depends on the woman, but 30, 40, 50, whatever, and no one will talk to them anymore. No one will do anything for them. And they spent their whole life with one skill that took care of everything because dumb guys would do everything. And now that they've lost that skill, they've lost the beauty, people are like, oh, now you're a troll and I hate you. Except the whole time they were young and beautiful, men were doing it to them. You weren't giving them the chance to grow and learn. And even now, one of the other things that I'm really frustrated about is that over the last few years, I've been trying to get Deshaina to become more responsible, and I'll make a little bit of progress, and she'll start taking care of some things herself, doing it herself. But then she'll be in a public place, talking to some people or some guys or whatever. Anytime there's a guy, it's instantly like, wait. You're a beautiful woman. Why are you doing that yourself? You shouldn't be doing that yourself. Where's the man who should be doing that for you? And then it's like, bam, she just lost all the progress she was making doing things herself. And it's just, yeah. So, the whole idea that you're supposed to pick sides is unbelievably frustrating for me. And anytime I talk about the situation with me and Deshaina, and anytime she talks about it too, people are always like, oh, I'm with you, Jaimie. Yeah, down with the women. Or the other person's like, oh, I'm with you, Deshaina. Oh, that darn Jaimie's not doing his thing right. But like, neither of those positions helps fix any of the problems. It just exacerbates it. Exacerbates, that's a big word. All right, what else can I go off and on about here? All right. Still, yeah, sunshine and smiles. I'm sorry, your children were stolen and held hostage for money. I mean, I know so many guys who are like, who can't see their kids, and these are guys who want nothing more than to see their kids, and I just see it's like their souls are just being crushed, and I don't know how they keep going. Because if I got to that situation, I would just be like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna get in my boat and just drive out into the ocean and keep going and going until there's nothing left. Like I couldn't live with that. And so many guys are just living with that. And oh God, it's freaking horrible. I went to your house. I'm just gonna read it I'm gonna read your typos from now on. I went to your hosu in Vermont. Place was fire, you. I'm not sure what that means. Cool. I'm so glad you're able to have your family. Even with the struggles, I just stumbled upon the info that you can't have children above the age of 6 in Panama without vaccination, compulsory education. Yeah, we'll see about that. My parents divorced when I was 7. My mom, oh yeah, we talked about that. Jaimie, you have been, oh, that was a good one too. Okay, the nuance is the multi-generation stainless wheelbarrow you're building for the kids' long-term benefit. The nuance, there are nuances. Does she ever show interest in learning from you? No, Deshaina just, that's a frustrating thing. Deshaina shows interest in learning things, just, and this has been going on ever since we met. Like she has I don't want to get into her past and why, but it has to do with men, and I'm a man, and she's always had an anger issue, and whatever. Stuff I can't fix and whatever. I've been divorced 13 years ago. She takes care of her stuff, no problem. Oh, that's beautiful, tomatoes. Yeah, sometimes people split and they actually just like are sensible and reasonable. And like I was saying earlier, I'm really glad that Deshaina and I could come to some kind of reasonable agreement that we can both live with. Because, yeah, man, it could go the wrong way pretty easily. If she were to watch any of your videos, she could learn how to build everything she could ever need. Yeah, maybe I should just tell her, just watch my videos and you can do everything. Wait, you guys are not married? Let me think about it. Yeah, so you have Twitter or something to update us about live. You know what? I've never been on Twitter. I know what it is, basically, but I've never actually seen it. What is that, like 6 people in the world who've never seen Twitter? Yeah, I'm one of them. I don't really know what Twitter is. I mean, I know basically what it is, but I've never been on it. The trough of the wave builds speed to the crest of the next. Yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of in the trough of the wave, building up speed, and pretty soon I'm gonna have to start going, like going under my own power to get up to speed, to get up to that top of that wave, with bullshit detectors and bullshit deflectors on full power. And you know what? Next Sunday, I'm probably going to do another live, probably, because they've been going on for a while. Someone remind me, keep your bullshit detectors on full. Just because like, part of the difficulty is I naturally want to trust people, particularly people who are in my family or whatever. Like, I want to trust them, and it's my default. And when people ask me for help with anything, my default answer is yes. But I have to keep my BS detectors on, and with certain people, I just have to say no. So I just have to remember this. So feel free to remind me to keep my BS detectors on. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Embrace the suck. Yeah, when things suck, sometimes you really need to embrace it and just gather it up and remember that. Sounds a bit like bipolar. Yeah, so I mentioned, if you end up, I was actually thinking about, that's kind of like what happens. I mean, it's one way of explaining bipolar disorder, is like when the waves and when the troughs and the crests, the waves of life come by. If you're out of sync and you keep ending up and down, then you end up bipolar. But what you want to do is kind of get in a wave and ride as good a spot as you can and try to stay there, and then you're good. But I mean, it's one way of thinking about it, which totally actually makes sense in a lot of ways. How's the bridge build going? Can you make an update video on that project? I need to do that. I deal with depression like that sometimes. I started going to counseling, and it's helping me and my relationships. Well, that's cool. Years ago, Deshana and I went to a counselor because it was like free and we could go. It doesn't matter why we went. But the thing is, Deshana she's a huge pain in the butt. And I don't agree with a lot of her morals and stuff, but she is very smart. And we went into that counselor, and I watched Deshana just wrap this lady around her finger, and it was unbelievable. Like, Deshana just dismantled this lady and just turned her into her puppet, like that. Like, if she could only use that force for good somehow. Let's see. Having support is important. It is. I feel like I've been without real life support for a long time, which is probably one of the reasons I like these lives, because like, you guys are supportive. You guys are like my support. I like I said earlier, I grew up with divorced parents, and it was just a total disaster. There was no support there. I actually felt like I didn't have a home growing up. Like, I felt like I was always like behind enemy lines, like in a stressful, dangerous place. I would say I still have like post-traumatic stress disorder to some degree, just from being in that environment for so long. But yeah, you guys are like the best support I've ever had. I mean, I've had friends here and there, I guess a little bit in real life. Yeah, having someone who wants to, they don't even have to give back to you as much as you give to them. They just have to want to. Because like, for me, I always want to give more to my family than they give to me, like way more. And obviously they can't then give as much to me, because I'm like, oh, I got to give to more. But could you imagine like a relationship? Like, I'm just imagining, some people must have this kind of marriage where there's like a guy and a girl, and the guy's trying to do as much as he can for her, and she's trying to do as much as she can for him, and they're just like almost battling it out, who can do more for the other person, because they don't want to be the one who's not holding up their end of the deal. Like, I imagine that would be amazing. But I think those kind of people, it's kind of hard for them to get together, because when you're a giver, you attract takers, for obvious reasons, because a taker will be like, ooh, there's someone giving out stuff, I want it. So maybe to get two givers together is difficult. And yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the difficulties I have. Like, I'm trying to meet someone now, and I'm trying to figure out what I need to look for. And I think what I need to look for is someone who is a giver. And I need to be able to accept the fact that they are doing things for me, and not be all weirded out and be like, oh, this doesn't make sense, I don't understand. I just have to be like, thank you, that's amazing, let me do something for you too. But I imagine that sometimes two givers get together and it's got to be amazing. I fixed a vacuum cleaner today that my father bought and my mother wanted to throw away. Pretty satisfying. Well, that's cool. Is it like one of those old vacuum cleaners where the parts are amazing, and as long as you keep it in decent repair, it'll last forever? I love old stuff. All right, warm up message retracted. I always think whenever someone retracts a message, were they saying F you or something? Although usually it's just like they made a typo or something. No one expects you to be infallible. Well, thank you, because I'm definitely not infallible. I screw up all the time. Although I do know people who always accuse me of never making mistakes, and I think I'm so perfect and everything. But then I'm like, wait. No, I make mistakes constantly. Are you kidding? Yeah, I make a lot of mistakes. But I think it's that I don't get upset about when things go wrong. I just kind of carry on through and just try to fix it. Anyway, you are doing the extreme, and your emotions will reflect that. Everybody would be bipolar if they were in your shoes. Well, I don't know. I don't think you could be bipolar in my shoes, because to have this kind of lifestyle and build stuff from the ground up, you kind of have to stay at least neutral, but neutral to positive. Like, you got to stay in that productive mode for long periods of time to get something done. Like when I built my house, it was a year of just like going and going and going and going, doing everything I could to just stay in that productive zone. And then when I got it put together, I did crash a little bit, but not that much actually. I was more just like, I just need to remember how to sleep again. It was funny because like for the next 2 weeks or something like that, after I moved into my house, I was just like just wired all the time. And then I slowly calmed down, and then it was like I kind of got back to normal, and I was like, oh, hold on, I got a walkie-talkie message. You know what? Here, you can watch me. All right, I gotta go. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, what's up? Hello, what's going on?
Okay, I just want to check. I need to order 2 charge controllers or 3?
Well, it depends. This is Deshana. She wants to know. Oh, hold on. I'm doing a live right now too. Well, it depends what charge controllers you're getting. I don't know. I'll go on after this. Send me a link of what you're looking at.
Oh my God, I didn't even know you were on a live. Also, I guess while you're on a live and we're being pleasantly ridiculous, you have a circular saw you want to sell me?
Wait, you guys are doing a live too right now? Hey, you're using up all my bandwidth.
Are doing a live. Anyway, doesn't matter. Do you have a circular saw that you want to sell me? Like maybe like a plug-in one?
I wish. No, I don't. Let me talk to you after I'm done this. I'll be done this in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, bye. See that? No. Well, I didn't say no. You see, I can't even say no. It's just like I'll talk to you about it later. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little conversation there. You inspire me with the legacy that you will leave behind for the future generations. I hope I leave something good behind. Yeah, I mean that's one of my big goals, and a lot of that is through my children. I want to raise the best kids I can who can, hopefully bring the best parts of me into the future. Or I might just have to live to be 300,000 years old, and that would be fine too. Do people that move there have to deal with Deshana's craziness? No. People who move here do not have to, and I don't want to crap on Deshana. Like she's her person. She gets along with certain people great and other people not so well. But my friend who's here, yeah, I guess I could just talk about this now. But like within the second day, he was basically like, yeah, I don't really want to interact with Deshana. And I was like, totally fine. And he lives right there, and my house is here. Just come over and hang out here whenever you want. And he doesn't deal with Deshana ever. I mean, they're pleasant and say hello and whatever, but they don't like hang out or anything. They basically have nothing to do with each other. So yeah, if like people who come here definitely do not have to interact with Deshana unless they feel like it. And to be clear, like some people get along with Deshana great, and some people not at all. And I mean, honestly, I could say the same thing about myself. So, yeah, I don't know. It just is what it is. Although, I mean, I can get along with pretty much anyone until like some topic comes up that they think I'm doing the wrong thing, and then I'm just like, well, I'm doing it anyway. And then sometimes people get angry about that. They're like, oh, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to get away with that. And I'm just like, well, that's what I'm doing. So, how's the bridge build going? I think we've seen some of it is the little wooden model. Yeah. All right. I'll try to get video of the bridge. Totally can make it happen with the BS deflector up. That gives more time for yourself and focus on the future and meeting folks. Yeah, so exactly. Like I have all this stuff I want to do here, and I want to set up and create this amazing future for myself and I guess my kids. I guess that's the thing. Before I was saying I want to create this amazing future for my family, but now I guess I just mean more specifically my kids, because Deshana is the kind of a separate thing now. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so yeah, now that Deshana and I are kind of more separate, and I might have to just go. I mean, that was her on the walkie-talkie there asking me about what electronic stuff she needs. I mean, I can tell her what she can get, but yeah, it's just taking that off my plate. That's been a really big thing to deal with for me, and now I gotta say it's kind of like a huge weight off my shoulders. So I can build this amazing future for myself and my kids and my friends, and not necessarily for Deshana. So like, you know, I have plans of things I want to do with my friend who lives over here, and my kids and myself. And yeah, I can. You're right. I can totally focus on that stuff better now. And even just, you know, since. I mean, I'm still partially processing this because we just had the discussion right before I came on here. But yeah, for the last few days, I haven't worked on any of my projects because I've just been in the bottom of the bottom of a gully. But now I'm starting to feel like I'm coming back up, you know, and I'm starting to think about, oh, I want to work on that again. I want to work on that and that. You know, I'm starting to get motivation back again, which is great. This is a question. How many videos do you think are left until lumber mill is up and running? Wow, that's not, I don't know. It's hard to say. Not that many. It's pretty close. Yeah, there isn't that much left to do on the lumber mill. Now that I'm looking at it, it's like I got to get that crank up on the top and some wheels on the bottom, and then just it needs power. I guess that's one of the things. Once I get the lumber mill, you know, finished, you know, I'll be able to run it off some little power system just to give it a little test or something. But I'm not really going to be able to use it until I get a bunch of solar panels set up. And to do that, I'm clearing out a flat spot at the top of the hill back there, and I want to build like. I've been calling it a guest house, but it's going to be multifunctional. But I want to put the solar panels up there and then the lumber mill up there. So the lumber mill itself should be ready to go pretty soon, but I'm not going to have like the full power for it yet. I'll have to get some other stuff. I do have the solar panels to power it, but I'm not just going to throw them out on the ground and wire them all together, because I'll have to take it apart. Anytime I hit a snag on a build, I ask, what would Jaimie do? I'm not joking. It's usually followed by an arg of extreme inspirational power. Oh, that is the best. Oh, that's good. Oh, if that's what you think when you think what would Jaimie do, that sounds excellent. I must be doing something right then. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Keep teaching adventure builder lessons. One day the message will click for people on a personal level. I'm gonna keep trying to do that. A lot of times I try to just kind of organically. The word organic is weird now, but anyway, I try to organically just fit adventure builder virtues into kind of everything I do and everything I show. But yeah, I also make videos where I talk specifically about them. I don't know. I guess I just have to keep pushing. I guess the way I think about it, the way I think about things in life and accomplishing things, is that if I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and I never give up, and I keep pushing, something's going to break, and I'm going to make some kind of progress, right? And I found that to be consistent throughout my life over and over. Like I remember, years ago, running track and field. There were 2 years in a row where it was like things were terrible. I was just crap. Everything was going terribly, and I was training hard and kept pushing and pushing, and just things were not clicking, right? But I just kept pushing and pushing. And then suddenly I went 2 years undefeated, and then things like trying to buy an island. I sold my land in Vermont, and I was like, all right, let's aim for this. I'm trying to get an island where I can homestead and do all this stuff. And it was like zero progress. But I'm just like, keep pushing. And then suddenly it's like, oh, a bit of progress. Okay. And then a bit more. And it's like, yeah, I guess everything's like that. Even trying to teach something like adventure builder values, I should just, even when I feel like there's no progress, there's still value in pushing, like keeping pressure on that. And that's how the biggest things in the biggest changes in the world happen, is a little force over a long period of time. That's basically how to describe evolution. It's like a little bit of pressure in one direction over an extended period of time makes an unbelievable amount of progress, much more than a lot of pressure all at once. I don't know, that could dilute the value of your content. I think he's talking about if I make more videos. Some people just are not mechanical in nature. Well, that's true. I watched the video of you digging for 20 minutes. It was an awesome vid. Well, I'm glad you liked that one. Yeah, it's always a little bit funny. Like, I make a lot of different kinds of videos, and I know that certain people like one kind and certain people like another kind. And I'm sure that, if I made separate channels for each individual thing, it would help my views or whatever. But honestly, I don't have time to set up 4 different channels, a building channel, just talking about bullcrap channel, the adventure builder channel, and just 40 minutes of digging channel. It's so I just kind of put it all together. Maybe at some point I'll meet someone who wants to, who lives here or lives in my house, whatever, who wants to, kind of help with the videos and stuff and curate them and, organize things better and stuff. Maybe I'll be able to do that kind of stuff or something. I don't know. Are there any local shaman marriage counselors in the jungle? There are local shamans. The shamans, okay. The shamans around here, it seems like their main purpose, I shouldn't say that's their main purpose, but out of the people that I know around here who go to the shaman, they go to the shaman to ask the shaman where buried treasure is. And the shaman tells them where to buried treasure for money, like significant amounts of money, like thousands of dollars. Like, hey, shaman, here's $1,000. Where's the treasure? And the shaman will take the map or whatever and be like, oh, it's right here. And then you go and dig up that spot and you go back to the shaman and say, it's not there. There's no treasure. What, are you lying to me? And the shaman goes, oh, the ghosts moved the treasure before you got there. You weren't quick enough. For $2,000, I'll tell you where the ghosts moved the treasure. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about this. This is what happens. And I know people who've spent like tens of thousands of dollars on this. So the person goes as fast as they can, runs to where the shaman said, and digs up that spot. No gold. So they go back to the shaman. Shaman, there's no gold there. The shaman says, oh, the ghosts moved the gold again, but you're starting to catch up to them. You're wearing down the ghosts. I think you're going to get the gold soon, but you got to be quick. $4,000, and I'll tell you where it is right now, because I need more money for more power to detect the spirits, because they're resisting now. So I need more money. $4,000. Here it is, right here. So they go. And it's just endless. It's just an endless scam, and it's ridiculous. And people fall for it. People are spending like unbelievable amounts of money going to these shamans. And someone's going to say, why don't you just become a shaman? Well, I don't think that's a morally upstanding thing to do. An adventure builder does not do things just for money. Not acceptable. I don't like the videos with D anymore either. There is no chemistry, only sarcasm and cynicism. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm not. Deshane and I feel like I'm already like just feeling so much lighter. And again, I don't want it to be like a beating up Deshana thing. Like, things just aren't. We just can't have that kind of relationship when we're close like that. It's just not working. But I don't want to beat her up about it. Some people get along with her great, and that's great. And I hope everything's going well with her. And I'm still gonna interact with her and stuff. We have kids together. It's just having that level of responsibility for another human being who's not taking care of themselves the way I think they should is very relaxing, having that kind of off my shoulders. That's why even ski instructors make their co-workers teach their loved ones. It's easier to have compassion with a rando. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So this, and again, this isn't something that's specific to Deshana or me. I'm not going to say I'm immune to any of this stuff, but it is much easier to scream at someone you care about than it is to scream at a random person that you just met, which is unfortunate, because love and hate kind of can get tangled up very easily. Would you ever come to the U.S. in your solar boat? I don't plan on going back to the States. I mean, it's possible. Currently, I have no passport though. It expired. I mean, I could renew it whenever, but it expired years ago, and I was just like, let's just leave it, because I'm not planning on leaving. Like, I have so much amazing stuff to do here. The thought of leaving is I mean, it's not even a thing. I'm just like, yeah, that's it. I just have so much amazing stuff to do here. So many plans and things to do and things to create, and so much to do here. I don't want to leave. I understand frustration with teaching Deshana. I experienced the same with my women, and I've seen the same elsewhere. I think women are fine just focusing on life's most difficult, kids, cooking, etc. So one of the problems I've always had with women is that I will happily make dinner every day, and I will happily clean and take care of the house and do work outside and make the money. Like, I will happily do everything. And generally speaking, other people are not like that. I know some people who are like that, but and I don't want to say particularly women, but women I have interacted with very quickly fall into, oh, Jaimie will do it. Okay, I'll just let him do it. Fine. And that's probably been the biggest problem I have in relationships. Because, within a couple weeks, I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Why am I doing everything and you're doing nothing? And it's like, oh, you're happy doing everything. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy doing everything, but not for someone who's sitting on ass doing nothing. Like, I'm happy to do everything. You do everything too. Let's both do everything. Then everything can be amazing, So that has actually been a consistent issue I've had with girlfriends in the past, is I'm happy to do all the stuff. Hey, chat, got to leave. All right, Tomaters, he's probably gone by now because I'm a little bit behind. All right, yeah, see you later, Tomaters. Hope you're having a good day. You got to read Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. Oh, I very vaguely remember that story. Clint Eastwood line, a man has got to know his limitations. That short line I had forgotten and tried to be a Superman all my life. I'm now 56 now. I seek happiness in my remaining years. I actually find a lot of happiness in doing everything. Like I love working all day and then making dinner and doing all this stuff. Like, although I'm also totally happy to have someone else do parts of things. And like if I had someone here who was making dinner while I was out doing stuff, I would come in and be like, "Oh, time to make dinner," and then she'd just be like, "Oh no, I'm making dinner." I'd be like, "Oh, well, maybe I'll go out and do a bit more work, or maybe I'll come help you with dinner." Like I would still want to do something, I feel like that's like this. I guess it's like a fantasy relationship I have where both people want to do stuff. But dude, you should not do work for people who are ungrateful, no matter if they are men or women. Yes, that's the trick. Don't do things for people who are ungrateful. And people who are, this is a common complaint from people who are doers. Like, I am a doer. Like, if there's something that needs to be done, I'm just like, I'll do it. And people who are like me, they often have the complaint that they're doing everything and that people are ungrateful, because a lot of people are ungrateful. And it's hard to just be like, it's hard to have no queued up in my head. So when someone asks me to do something, I just say no, because I like having yes. I like having a positive mind frame. I like having that positive energy just all about me. The answer is yes, yes, yes. Someone asks me something, yes. I didn't even hear what was the question? You want what? Yes, let's do it. Like I like having that. Like I like having that stupid puppy, happy, fun, go energy. It's just, obviously you can't do that when you're around someone who asks for more than they should be asking. Even when that person says, well, you can just say no. It's difficult for the kind of person that I am to say no. So that's partly my fault, and I totally accept it. It's totally partly my fault. And that's one of the ways Deshana and I are just not compatible. Like I want to have yes in my head all the time. I don't like having no, but it'll be good having some separation. Then I won't have to constantly keep that no in my head. And you have kids together, so you can't afford to be bitter. Believe me, that will eat your soul. Yes, that's exactly true. Deshana and I cannot be bitter toward each other, which is, man, this morning when the fight was going on, I was just like, oh no, the bitterness is going to destroy our family. But then we worked it out. And I am now so thankful that we got it worked out. And yeah, because if you have kids with something and two parents are bitter toward each other, that was my parents. My parents were bitter toward each other. And it doesn't even matter whose fault it was at that point. It's just the whole thing is just a load of garbage. So maybe this is a bad time to ask about what's Deshana's channel. I'm sure you could just type her name. You spelled her name right there. Yeah, Deshana. It's a pretty uncommon name. If you just look on YouTube and just type Deshana, I'm pretty sure you could find it easily. Or even if you just like went on any search engine and typed Jaimie, you're probably going to get her videos pretty soon. Wait, what did I miss? I feel your pain. Yeah. Would you abandon your kid's mother and not weigh the value of her feminine on, wait, just because she's difficult or ungrateful? Oh, yeah. That's a difficult thing. Like when you have kids with someone and then after the fact you find out how difficult they can be. And this is a very common thing. Like two people get together and I'm just going to talk about hypothetically for a minute. It's so easy for two people to get together and spend a fair amount of time being pretty cool. And then, maybe you have kids together and then one person just kind of like loses it in some way and becomes difficult and horrible. And then it's like, what do you do? Like you're already in, so yeah, I mean, I guess I could just say again, I'm glad Deshane and I have worked out a way that we can function, still have a good family, but be separate enough that it's not driving, me crazy. Boundaries, man, boundaries. Yes, boundaries. Yeah, that's the go. Okay, so when I'm getting up on my next wave that's coming in and it's starting to pick me up already. When I get back in the groove and I'm fully into my super positive productive self and I'm like happy about it. I feel like I'm going good. I got to keep my bullshit detector at 100%, and I got to keep up boundaries. Keep the boundaries. Keep the shields. Get the boundaries. I got to remember that. Remind me next week. Keep up your boundaries, man. And not just Deshana, just like people in general, because she's definitely not the only one who tries to, There you go. Much better way of putting it. I'm not sure what I was talking about, but hopefully I said something reasonable. I seriously doubt 10 or 20 men could do what you did. That war, for instance, incredible. I still don't know how. Yes, there's a few things in the past that I've done that I look at now and I'm like, how in the hell did that happen? And probably the first really, really big one was the road I dug through the mountains in Vermont. Like building the house in Vermont when there was no road there and I had to carry everything up on my back. That was amazing. I was really impressed that I pulled that off. But like digging the road through the mountains, through that like ridiculous terrain where I was like building huge retaining walls on this slope, that one, I look at it now and I'm just like, oh my God, that is an unbelievable amount of work. And I don't really remember doing it. Like it's blanked out of my mind. But there's video of it, so I know it happened. Or even like building this house. Oh God, I can't believe that happened. Yeah, but it just kind of goes to show this is what I was saying, kind of what I was saying earlier about applying pressure. You just keep going and don't give up. You can do amazing things. Let's see. Mike M. I would leave an ungrateful person no matter what, but I would not do it in a way that made it more difficult for my kids. That is a tricky situation. So you guys are talking about like, if say you get married to a woman and you have kids together and then she's ungrateful and difficult and you end up in that situation, what do you do? Do you leave? Because it's not like you can just leave and have everything okay. Like it's a difficult situation. And this morning I was teetering right on the edge of this could go so bad right now. But yeah, we pulled it out, figured it out. It would be difficult to know someone else was working on my place I built. Yeah, I can understand that. Absolute great book. Stephanie Stahl, The Child in You, The Breakthrough Method for Bringing Out Your Authentic Self. Oh, Joe Blow, please stop belittling Deshane in public. Look, I'm not trying to belittle her. I'm just telling the truth. And I've said several times, I'm not trying to crap on her. This is just the situation, he's processing things, and you aren't right for the blanket statement calling it belittling when he's speaking facts. Yeah, I mean, like, oops, let me just fix this thing. The fact is, like, sometimes there are difficult situations, and just ignoring it isn't going to help. And I'm not belittling anyone. I'm definitely not belittling anyone. If anything, I'm trying to figure out how things can be okay for both people who are very different. That's the thing. Deshane and I are very different people. And from my perspective, she's nuts. And apparently from her perspective, I'm nuts. And, just the fact that we could work out some way of progressing into the future when we have to be part of each other's lives is great. I'm not trying to belittle her. Don't generalize. Men do the exact same thing. Okay, so I always try to say this whenever I talk about women. Like when I talk about women in relation to me, it's because I'm a man. So I'm not gonna talk about my relationship with a man because I'm straight. I have relationships with women. Yes, there are men and women do a lot of the same terrible things and a lot of the same good things. Whenever I'm talking about women doing something, it's because it's my perspective as a man relating to them in that kind of relationship. But yes, I don't mean to generalize women in general and not men. So I personally refuse to believe it's a gender-specific problem. You're right, it's not a gender-specific problem. And even when I was talking about like pretty women, although no, pretty women have a very specific problem. Yeah, I would even say there are definitely problems that are gender specific, but the fact that men or women can do good or bad things, that's not gender specific. But there are, now that I think about it, I want to take back a little bit of what I said there. There are definitely gender specific problems because I mean this is just what reality is. Men are different than women, and I've never bought the idea that men and women are just the same except for some social what's the thing that's going on today. You're supposed to be woke and think that men and women are exactly the same except society treats them differently. Like society does treat men and women differently, and men and women are different. Like both of those things are true. And that's a whole other discussion. Jordan Peterson. I like a lot of what Jordan Peterson says, but I kind of have a problem with with his solutions. Like his solutions always revolve around basically become one of those suit and tie people. And I actually made a video recently about suits and ties. I'll have to post that too. But he's very into. I don't even want to get into this all. He says some useful things, but he's pushing for a dominance hierarchy all the time that I do not think is useful. But dude, some of the blame is also one deadbeat daddies. Yeah, there's Pennsylvania is PA. I didn't mean Panama. Oh, I don't remember what this comment was, but he said something about PA. Oh, I didn't mean Panama with the kids above 6 getting vaccinated with the. Oh, in Pennsylvania they're doing that? Oh, that's horrible. Tell me that's not true. Oh, that sucks. My YouTube suggestions are all do-it-yourself lumber mills now. Sorry, man. Oh, man. Hi, almost caught up. How far behind am I on comments right now? I'm trying to read them all. What's your take on metal roofs? I've seen copper roofs for domes. It's expensive, but they last forever and are waterproof. Oh, I love that. Yeah, copper or stainless steel. You could do stainless steel, right? Or is there some kind of issue? I feel like you should be able to get away with stainless steel. Even like marine grade aluminum, as long as you use the right connectors, it should be fine. But yeah, I love metal. I'm all for metal. But like galvanized, I'm not really that into that because you get a scratch, it starts rusting through, or like any of the regular steel roofs that are either galvanized or painted. I'm not that excited about that. But like a copper roof, That sounds amazing. Or a stainless steel roof, or probably like a marine grade aluminum would be good too. Or a titanium roof. I mean, if you could, if you had $1 billion to just barf out and not care about. Jaimie, I know that trusting people by default thing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Almost everyone does. You presume others are the way you are. That's why thieves are always defensive, cheaters always suspicious. Yeah, you're right. Like it's so easy to presume that other people are going to react the way you would react. And it's important. I mean, I guess this is what I'm talking about when I say I have to remember to keep my bullshit detectors up and keep my boundaries. Like, remember that just because I've made a conscious decision to try to always tell the truth and always be honorable does not mean other people are sharing that. Even people I care about and like even people I talk to about this and who say they agree, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to do it. You're right. You got to remember, there's something I used to always say, which is that you can always trust a person to be who they are. And I started saying that when I had this friend who was always late, like always. And it was I figured out some way of calculating how late he would be. And it was turned out to be really, really reliable and predictable. And one thing I said about it, well, I mean, one time I was waiting for him somewhere and someone said, "Hey, don't you even trust your friend?" I'm like, "Well, I know he's going to be late, but you should trust your friend because you care about him." I'm like, "Well, I trust him to be who he is." And that's the thing. You can always trust people to be who they are. And that's important to remember. Don't trust them to be who you hope they are, or any of that stuff. And that's something I have to do with Deshaina too. And again, Joe Blow, I'm not belittling her. Deshaina and I are different. I have to remember that I have to trust her to be who she is, not who I would be in that situation. So yeah. If you do not trust people, they have nothing to lose by taking advantage of you. Well, if you don't trust people, they also have much more difficulty taking advantage of you. So I love to hear you on a Joe Rogan podcast about you and your mindset, the hows and whys, like these lives, and with Joe's listening ear and sharp tongue. That would actually be kind of cool to go on Joe's show because he does a really good job. I'm going to be honest, I've never actually seen a full Joe Rogan thing or listened to a whole one. But, I've seen and heard like 15, 20-minute chunks here and there. And yeah, he does a really good job, man. He does a great job. No, dude, you should not look for validation in other people and never give more than you got. Right. But it is valuable to start out offering more, like offering a lot. And then hopefully that other person offers a lot back. But then if you offer a lot and they don't, then it's like, okay, I'm not giving anything else. And that's one of the things that makes it difficult for givers to meet new people. Because like if you're always coming into a situation offering a lot, 90% of the people are just going to take it. And then it's like, I got taken again and again and again because I gave benefit of doubt. I hoped. And, then you end up in the situation where it's like, anytime I meet someone, I have to keep my bullshit detectors up and not offer anything and just kind of stay back and not really open myself up to them. So it's difficult to meet people in that situation. A woman that has supported so far in your endeavors. What did I miss? I must have missed some part of that sentence. Have you ever entered the shamanic method, alternative perspectives on time and consciousness? I don't know what that is. I would say I kind of do have pretty alternative perspectives on time and consciousness and dimensions and things like that. But that's just my own weird brains. Men and women are different. Makes a lot of people mad. Yeah, that's a silly thing though, because men and women are very obviously different. And you can find this out if you look into anywhere that money is involved. Um, like take marketing, for example. Like if men and women are the same, marketers would market to men and women the same because they're very motivated to do whatever makes the most money. But marketers market to men one way and women a different way, very different ways, because that's what makes them the most money. And in a situation like that, they don't care about what society thinks they're supposed to do or what their heart tells them or stuff. No, they're just based on what's getting the results. So whenever you want to think about something like that and kind of test something, look for situations like that where the bias goes out the window because all they care about is the results. And then you see the truth, and men and women are very different. And that doesn't mean one's good or one's bad. I personally think that men and women, when they interact with each other and don't fight against their own natures, they mesh really, really well. They interact really, really well. But we've just got this kind of synthetic world, this artificial society made up where we're being told to kind of fight against our natures, and we're being forced to live in ways that don't make sense. It's just screwing everything up. It's snowing here in Ottawa, Canada. I have not been in Ottawa for quite some time. I grew up in Hamilton, Ontario, so I have definitely been in Ottawa. I was married for 5 years. We were restoring an old Victorian house in New York. She ran away with my friend because building stuff was too hard. Yeah. I could, coming back to what Joe Blow was saying earlier, belittling Deshana, I could tell some unpleasant stories, much worse than what I've said. Not that didn't happen, but yeah. Hey, Jaimie. Oops, I gotta fix this. First of all, I'm a huge fan. All right. You are a great inspiration and motivation. And for my question, do you have any tips on how to keep your mind sharp? Well, my first thought is always try to do things you don't know how to do. Yeah, that's basically it. Keep trying to do things you don't know how to do, because that keeps your brain going. And that's what I love doing. That's my favorite thing doing. So whenever I guess over the years, you see me do a lot of different kinds of projects. And it's because I keep wanting to do something that I'm not sure I can do, or I don't know how to do at the time. Like, for instance, building this house. I didn't know if this was going to work out. Like, look at the size of that roof. It's huge. Oh, do I have to hold it there still? Like, I didn't know if I could build that. And deciding to do it, that got my brain like fired up, and it was like, all right, we got to figure this out. Or like, building this lumber mill over here. It's like, okay, I've built 2 lumber mills before, but can I do it with the materials I have? And can I do it to withstand the weather here and the salt and all this stuff? Or can I? Yeah, I'm just constantly trying to come up with projects that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do. And I think that's the best way to keep your mind sharp. Because if you do things you already know how to do, your brain is just kind of coasting on autopilot. Life is adventure. Not sure humans should live in the same spot. Well, I don't know. You mean physically the same spot? I think physically you can live in the same spot and life is still an adventure. For instance, here in this place, I'm in the same place, but it does not look like the same place as it did 2 years ago. This whole island looks different than it did 2 years ago. And I think travel is actually overrated. I think there's become this this sort of false nobility attached to travel. Like, you travel and that's how you learn, that's how you see the world and learn things. Except I think you learn more when you stop than when you travel. Because when you're traveling, you're always, I've said this before, when you're traveling, you're always treated like the new person. You're always treated like royalty. You always get benefit of the doubt. Everyone wants to hear your story because you're the new person. And then you're there for a couple weeks and people kind of get bored of you and they start treating you like who you are. And then a lot of people just keep keep bouncing around from place to place so they can keep that high of being treated like royalty. But stop and stay in a place long enough to face the consequences of your own actions. I think that's much more valuable than staying in transit. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be geographically in the same spot. Like it could just be with the same group of people. Like if you're, like a nomadic tribe or something, and you kind of follow the herd of buffalo or whatever. This is a ridiculous analogy, but that kind of thing. That you're traveling geographically, but you're with the same group you're in the same kind of environment where you are creating it. So I think it is really valuable to be in one environment long enough that you are responsible for it and you face the consequences of everything you do. Oh, I got frozen again, didn't I? Did I get frozen, or is that just on my screen? Let me push the button. Come on, button. Oh no. Well, I think I'm stuck frozen, at least on my screen. Let's see. My cordless keyboard eats letters and won't backstroke, so I have to get up and go to wired keyboard. Oh, very good cook. All right, come on. This is the first time my thing is frozen. I haven't been able to fix it. Well, it doesn't really matter. I'm just sitting here in the same spot anyway, blabbing away. Living with no cell phone signal must be amazing. I love having no cell phone signal. And actually, I like, I got this fixed. I kind of liked it when I didn't have internet here. I've only had internet here for a few months. And one of the things I did this week when I was in the, kind of the down part of my ups and downs, I was like, one of the things I need to do is limit my internet more than I am. So I only want to turn it on like once a day or maybe twice a day. But other than that, just be in real life. Really, I feel like I should just turn it off. Well, I left it off for a couple days when I did that, and I've start feeling better and better every day. So maybe I'll just leave it off, leave my internet off, unless there's something specific I really need to do, and just focus on real life, man. Because yeah, just focusing on real life, it's so much better than getting sucked into that ridiculous internet. And yeah, I definitely never want to have a phone again. Ugh. There are not many like you, Jaimie. Oh, good thing. Hence you writing your own guidebook. Know that you are extraordinary, and that's hard for manipulators to manipulate. So that's a thing. Yeah, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. I know I'm definitely, a weirdo. I've known that for a long time. I try to make it a good thing, do my best to make it a good thing. Also know your children notice your tolerance for such things, so they will learn to handle these things. Yeah, I hope I'm doing a good job for my kids. We'll see. You shouldn't be using wireless anyway. Oh, this is about the wireless keyboard. You shouldn't be using wireless anyway. Studies came out that wireless technology causes changes at the intercellular level, specifically on voltage-gated calcium channels. Oh no, is the wireless signal going through my brain right now? It's eating my brains. Maybe that's why when I turn off the internet, like I feel great. And when I turn off the internet, there's a power strip that I turn off, and it turns off the antenna, the router, like all signal stuff is off. Maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, definitely has something to do with just not being exposed to that constant chatter of the internet. But maybe there's also some signal nonsense. Do you know of YouTube alternatives in case you get shut down? Rumble is good. Oh, you worried I might get shut down? I might. It's true. Like I've come close to getting shut down. I'm pretty sure on a few occasions. I've been canceled. I mean, like lots of times. But I think I've been canceled enough times at this point that you can't really cancel me anymore. I don't know. Maybe someone could. I used to think you reminded me of Ratty running around in a rowboat, having a great time, just messing about in boats. Now I've decided it's more like Buckminster Fuller. I don't know who Ratty is, but I know who Buckminster Fuller is. He's a pretty good guy. BS reflectors up to maximum. Yeah, lumber mill uphill means getting lumber uphill. That is true. So I was deciding whether, I was trying to think of where I want to put my lumber mill and set it up. And obviously I can move it, but I kind of want to put it up at the top of the hill. Even though that means I'm going to have to get logs up there. But I do have a pretty shallow sloped ramp that goes up there. So once I get the logs onto the land here, it won't be, I think, it won't be that much harder to just get it up to the top of the hill there. It'll be harder to get it out of the jungle. So, and I feel like it's just going to be such a pleasant place to cut wood, just up out in the fresh air up there. There's all this space, and I just feel like it's a really good place to be, where I'm going to be for hours cutting a log, as opposed to, I mean, down here by the water would be fine too. I don't know. I just feel like I want to be out in a more open space. I don't know if that makes sense, and I might change my mind once I start going. We'll see. A little bit of time. A little bit at the time, like the tortoise. Thanks for the pep talk. Yeah, sometimes you just got to be like a tortoise and just keep pushing and keep pushing. Sometimes you can knock down huge walls if you just keep pushing on them long enough. I'm going to bed to get up early tomorrow. Have a nice new week, folks. Good night, Nalis Solus. How's your video game going? Well, I have not worked on my video game in a while. It's just gotten kind of tossed aside, like a lot of things. However, again, when I was in kind of my gully a few days ago, when I was at the bottom of my lows, one of the things that I started thinking about was, oh yeah, my video game. I could kind of feel like doing that. Maybe if I'm turning off the internet and I'm not paying attention to that for a while, I'll start working on video game stuff more. So I've been thinking about that again. And okay, here's one thing. I was talking about the video game with my kids the other day, and I determined that I need a character in my video game who says this, and this might wreck it for a few people, but there's going to be a character who says, like you'll be in your robot or whatever and drive up to a town, and someone will run out, and maybe there'll be a special cutscene or something, and the person will say, oh no, we're having a serious case of bad guys, and that's it. That's all they say. Oh no, we're having a serious case of bad guys. And then you got to go in and take care of the bad guys, of course. But I just think it would be a hilarious thing to say. We're having a serious case of bad guys here. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but maybe every time I have a problem from now on, I'm just gonna tell people, yeah, I'm having a serious case of bad guys. They're hurting me right in my feelings. That's the worst, when someone hurts you right in your feelings. As someone from Costa Rica, sounds about right. Oh, what was I talking about? That sounds about right. I don't know. I'm pretty far behind on the comments here, probably. Love the trampoline house. Is it still for sale? I don't actually know. If I were there, I would build the solar system for you and help out. Solar power is my specialty. You have a similar energy pattern to mine. Someone is out there for you. That's great. Yeah, you guys are like, man, you guys are my support group. I mean, besides my kids are awesome. Cool. Did you ever interact with men? Yes, my friend who lives on the other island right over there, who I mention now and then. He's a man. We get along great. We get along awesome. Although you might be talking about like interact with men in a romantic kind of relationship. No, I don't. I only like girls. So whenever I talk about relationshipy kind of things, I always refer to women, and then some people say that's sexist. But I don't have I can only talk about myself if I'm talking about men in that situation. So if you were there, you would build a solar system. The thing is, like, I need to build the building where the solar system is going. I was trying, this is Bob, okay. I was trying to do everything for everyone. It caused a sense of being overwhelmed and killed my happiness. Yeah, everyone needs to watch out for self-imposed stress. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And the difficult part is like, when you're a person who partially gets joy from doing things and you want to do things for people, it kind of also ruins it when you have to say no all the time. Like, I think the solution to that is just to be around other people who also want to do things, so that whenever there's something to do, you can say, I want to do it. And then they can run over and be like, I want to do it too. And then you can do it together instead of, it's just most people today aren't focused on doing things. Any plans for building an air vehicle? In my brain, yes. I've not started any actual things, but yes, I definitely think about building an air vehicle. Mr. Landfill says, how is everyone? I still think it's hilarious what Mr. Landfill's story was for how he got his name, which I don't exactly remember right now. I'm going to remember it like 2 minutes from now. Question, have you ever watched Dragon Ball Z? Have you seen the new ones? Well, yeah, I'm a fan of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z right up to the end of the what's his name? The Frieza saga. After that, I thought it just got kind of silly and ridiculous. But yeah, I love that Dragon Ball Z. It was great stuff. Thumbs up, everyone. I'm from Vermont, Moshercraft. Hello, Jaimie. How is your composting going? Okay, so my composting, I was actually throwing some more grass on it yesterday. But basically for my composting, I have a spot of ground that at one point I dug it up and kind of broke it up, maybe a foot deep. And I tried to plant some stuff in there. A bit of stuff grew, but not that much. And then that had been there for a few months. And then, I don't know, like a month ago or something, I cut a whole bunch of grass and made a pile like as tall as me, roughly, of grass, just like grass and like little weeds and stuff, just threw it on there. And that pile has now shrunk down to like below my waist anyway. Like it's less than half of the height it was. And I stuck my machete in there the other day, and it's all brown and like getting dirty inside, and it was just grass. So it looks like it's composting pretty quick. So hopefully that'll turn into something good. Alex Moore, hi Jaimie, how you doing, man? Not sure if you can stretch stainless steel into a dome shape. It might break. I'm pretty sure you could stretch it. You could get stainless steel into a dome shape. If nothing else, it would be pretty easy to make triangles. Like I don't know, like when you see domes with triangles, you could make flat triangles with stainless steel, fold over the corners or the edges, bolt them into the next piece or rivet them or whatever, and then you'd have flat triangles, but then all in a dome shape. But if you actually wanted to make a dome-shaped piece of stainless steel, you can totally do it with, I don't remember what it's called now. It's got like two rollers like this that have pressure, and you take a piece of metal and shove it between them, and it kind of squishes the metal and expands it. You can get, domed shapes out of that. Request, I'd love to see your unique builds in action. No speaking needed. Once the lumber mill is done, a video of you breaking down a tree and a few normal ones and even some maintenance. I want to see your unique builds in action. So you just want to see like my machines working. Thanks for the shaman story. You're welcome. Oh man, I'm way behind. I'm gonna have to speed through a bunch of these comments. Apologies if I missed some. Yeah, when I made the Adventure Builder movie like last year, I tried to put in a whole bunch of things I've made. So like a significant portion of that movie, maybe like 15 minutes or something, is just like quick little shots of machines I've made doing their things. A lot of them are just like little walking robots and stuff. But then, I showed some lumber mills and I tried to show most of my boats and just different things I've made. But let's see. Don Do-It-Yourself is also making a swing blade. I'm sure you were his inspiration. Oh, really? He did work with Doug on Seeker, so I'm sure Doug turned him on to you. Well, maybe. What is your earliest childhood memory? I have this memory, Anita. I love that name. Anita's a great name because it goes well in so many jokes. Because like when Bart Simpson calls the bar and says, "I'm looking for Miss Hug and Kiss, first name Anita," and then what's his face says, "Hey, I need a hug and kiss. I need a hug and kiss," and then everyone laughs at him. Oh, it's great. Okay, what's my earliest childhood memory? I have this memory of being carried by someone beside, like right beside a fence, like a chain link fence, and on the other side was a swimming pool. And for some reason, I imagined an alligator in the swimming pool. And I know the alligator wasn't real. I must have been like, I was really young, like 1 or 2 at the time. And I remember my dad and mom were there, and then the person carrying me was a family friend, and there were a few other people there. Yeah, that's my earliest memory. And the funny thing is, I know exactly where this was. Like I could go there in my hometown. I could go exactly to where I remember this being. And it could be a fake memory, but it's the earliest one that I have, supposedly. I have seen an Asian guy repair a 22 kilowatt electric motor on YouTube. That was sick, man. That's a lot of power. I don't have that much power for anything. Haha, I said the exact same thing just yesterday. Why travel? Your home should be the best place for you in the entire world. Yeah, if your home is not the best place for you, you gotta start looking inside and be like, what's wrong with me that's making this place not the best place in the world? Because wherever you are, if you're in a place, the longer you're there, the more tuned it's going to be to whatever you're doing. Like the better it should be. Like presuming you're doing good stuff. I guess it's a good way to know if you're having a good influence on the world around you. If you want to be where you are, then you know, oh, I must be doing a good job because I'm creating an excellent place here. If you're sat at home, something is wrong. Oh, I was just saying this. I'm going to die here in a house I built myself with a view of a forest I planted myself. Oh, that's amazing. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, I plan to die here too. I don't really want to go anywhere. I love this place. And when I look around at this place, I see so many things that it's missing. And all that is just like stuff I get to do. It's great. Just get one of Elon's chips and you can never leave it. I'm not a fan of the brain chips. You know, there's this theory that, you know, AI is going to take over, and the way we fix it is to implant ourselves with brain chips so we can basically become parts of the computers ourselves. But then what's going to happen? There's going to be computers, robotic computers that can do whatever they want and change themselves, reprogram themselves, rebuild themselves. And then there's going to be these other computer robot things with these crappy pieces of meat stuck to them. What do you think they're going to do with the pieces of meat, which will be us? Yeah, putting brain chips in ourselves to connect with the computers, that's not going to save us from AI. They're just going to be like, oh, we don't want, that's like, it would be like attaching a goiter to yourself. Like some animal being like, I'm going to save myself by turning myself into goiters and attaching it to all these human beings. You'd just be like, get off. Yeah, that's where we're going to be if we have brain chips. Ratty is in the wind in the willows, by the way. I think you're probably more like Toad. Always got a project on the go. Toad, is that Frog and Toad? Toad, anyway. Happy Sunday, Jaimie. Buckminster Fuller. You must always do what you cannot do. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's the way to keep your mind sharp. Always do what you cannot do. And people who don't do things misunderstand that statement. Do what you can't do that you have to learn how to do, because then when you can do it, you've grown, you've learned something. Like something you can't do isn't something you can never do. It's just something you can't do right now. So do things you can't do. Learn how to do them, because then you grow. Adventure builders are like sea capitans, married to the sea. We are married to the build and the ethic. Yeah. And I gotta say, you know, like ever since I started following adventure builder principles, like ever since I like kind of wrote it down and like made it like a concrete thing for myself, my life has gotten better and better. I'm new sub, love your channel. I stumbled upon it when someone toured your trampoline house when I researched you. Yes. It's funny that there's so many views of my old house, probably more views than when I was building it and stuff, you know. I grew up doing construction. I didn't value education until after the Marine Corps. I was always on mission and have been successful. I enjoy helping, but the stress with a full plate was a killer. Yeah, you gotta be careful not to take on too much. And when you're someone who likes to do stuff and you're a giver, you gotta watch out for takers and askers. And it's not even necessarily their fault. It's just this is their default to ask for things. And if it's your default to always give them, you can just get into a situation where you're doing too much. So yeah, you gotta keep those boundaries up. So much 1980s software. If I threw it all out, it would choke a landfill. Plus, my name is Phil. That's right. That's how Mr. Landfill got his name. There's so much 1980s software was amazing. Like the video games from back then. When now video games rely on like crazy graphics and amazing, all that stuff. But back in the day, video games were relied on like interesting stories and interesting gameplay and stuff like that, because there weren't great graphics. You had to figure out how to make it fun. 2 wheels with pressure to make dome shapes. English wheel, that's what it's called, an English wheel, yes. So what I was talking about earlier, 2 wheels that are like this, they have pressure pushing down, and you put a piece of sheet metal between them, and it presses and expands the metal, like just presses it out, kind of like if you had clay and just, but to a more fine degree. English wheel, that's what it's called. I've been a long time subscriber. This is Bob. You and I have a lot of the same skill set, but I think you have surpassed me. Because of the need to get the job done. Maybe. I don't know. I don't really think about who surpasses who. Adventure builders don't worry about who surpasses who. We just try to do our best. I want to surpass tomorrow. I want to surpass myself today. That's all I worry about. My earliest memory was at 3. I was trying to figure out how an umbrella worked. Oh, that's great. Freedom Friends Canada. I think that's supposed to say Northern Ontario, Canada has legal unorganized land. True freedom. Really? I wonder, or is it Norigern or is it Northern? I'm not sure if that was a typo, but I know there are some weird names in Northern Canada. Like, what's that territory that has the weird name? I don't know. Jaimie, if you're reading this, you're almost cut up, maybe 4 minutes behind. Well, that's the thing. You could have written that an hour ago. Canada has unorganized townships with unorganized land, true freedom in Northern Ontario. No cell signal, just Starlink. Oh, yeah. For your information, a pipe cutter makes a good C-clamp in a pinch. That is true. Except you got to be careful you don't wreck your cutter. I've been a software engineer for over 30 years and have worked on many government programs for aircraft. The new generation of engineers are lost and concerning for the future. Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised about that. Question, do you have a good quality picture of the adventure builder diagram? I want to print it out and put it on the fridge for me and my kids to look at and be inspired by. Yes, I do. Send me an email. My email should be down here, theadventurebuildermovie@gmail.com. Yeah, send me an email and I'll email you back a pretty big, cleaned up picture of the adventure builder. What was all the values, right? That one right over there, right on the other side of that wall there. I think I am at the end of my comments, and we're almost at 2 hours. Great. I've been leaving my phone off for a week at a time. Oh, isn't it so great? Just not having that phone just constantly bleep, 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 bleep. It's like, shut up, leave me alone. Catching up only takes 6 minutes. Feels great. When I built my house, I didn't go online for 6 or 8 months or something. And when I finally went online, like there was a ton of spam in my email, but really not that many messages. I'm sure I missed a few, but for the most part, I was just like, well, let's just carry on the way we are now. I mean, I scrolled down for a while, but it was almost all just like spam nonsense. Living off grid is easy. Everything is workable. The only thing that will destroy you is loneliness. Not everyone deals well with solitude. And the silly thing is when you live off grid, there's no good reason that you should be lonely. It's just people today are sucked into this idea that living in the city is the best, and it's. I'm not going to get into why it's not, but I use pipe cutters to hold back insulation on copper refrigeration lines while brazing. Yeah. All right. It looks like I'm all caught up on comments, and I'm at 1 hour and 59 minutes and 55 seconds. If you have cell signal, you're not far enough away from the madness. Yeah, and I don't have cell signal here. I mean, there's a little bit, but not much. Have fun, Jaimie. Was a blast. I hope everyone has a good afternoon. And earlier, when I was talking about difficulties between me and Deshana, that doesn't mean I think she's a terrible person or anything. And I don't want anyone. I know Joe Blow was concerned that I was belittling her, but it's just things are things, but we got it all figured out, so it's fine. So I hope no one gets upset about that. All right, everyone, have an excellent afternoon. Now it's afternoon here for sure. I guess I haven't eaten all day because I was busy arguing this morning. I guess I should go make some dinner. I hope everyone else has an excellent time. We'll have to rewatch I Got Here Late Again. Oh, Mr. Landfill, you're not missing anything. Send Deshana to me to tell her what charge controller to buy or whatever her problem was. Oh, Matt saw some stuff. You talked to Deshana, right? You could always give her some tips. But otherwise, I will. She might have gotten it figured out by now anyway. All right. Everyone have a great day, and I'm going to get out of here. And I'm starting to feel that next wave coming, and I'm going to start getting up to speed this week. And I guess I need to post a few of those videos that I mentioned today that I wasn't sure if I was going to, but okay. I am getting out of here. Wait, from the YouTube analytics, what was your most popular content? I'd have to double check that. I know what my 2 most popular videos are, but anyway. All right. Everyone have a great day. Where's the button? Oh, are you sure you want to stop streaming?